Future is bright under orange lights. Right off the high, we pay for first downs.
The name of this episode is Tennessee versus Arkansas, when chaos meets a buzzsaw, or how Bobby Petrino's midlife crisis walks into a meat grinder. Let me tell you what happens when a bottom 15 defense walks into Neyland Stadium against the number 2 offense in college football. Spoiler alert, it rhymes with bloodbath. This Saturday, the Arkansas Razorbacks, currently held together with duct tape, a prayer, and a ghost of Bobby Petrino's motorcycle, are about to get introduced to Tennessee's tempo offense like a lamb meeting a combine harvester. But here's where it gets interesting. The betting line just dropped from 13.5 to 12.5. It's kind of weird. Sharp money, the Sopranos moving that. Somebody thinks Arkansas has a pulse. So today, we are going to do a full forensic autopsy on this matchup, unit by unit, mismatch by mismatch, to figure out if the Hogs have a secret weapon indeed. Or are they about to get turned into a barbecue on national television? Buckle up. This is going to hurt some people. Before we dive into the carnage, let's set the stage with some context, shall we? Because that's what makes this game delicious. 2 weeks ago, Arkansas fired Sam Pittman, their coach, after losing 3 straight. They started off good, 2 big wins. Powder puff teams. So they fire the guy. They promoted their offensive coordinator, 63-year-old Bobby Petrino, to interim head coach. And what was Bobby's first move? Did he run into the offensive room and start designing some plays? Nope. He ran into the defensive coordinator's office and said, "Hey, get your shit. You're out." That was his first thing that he did. Okay. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rocket, isn't this like kind of rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Here's the twist, though. Bobby Petrino is an offensive genius. He really is. Always was. The man hasn't coached Power 5 football, though, since 2011. And if my math is correct, I need both of my hands and one foot to count up the years that's been since he's actually done that. But at that time, Louisville and Arkansas, when he was there at first time, he was putting up video game numbers. I mean, the question is, can a 63-year-old dude with a grudge, with 1 week to prep, out-scheme Josh Heupel's chainsaw? I don't think so. But I'll stick to the script. History says probably not. But damn, it's going to be entertaining to watch. I give you that. All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. No, I'm not talking about that elephant. That's next week's problem. Crimson Tide, right? I'm talking about the elephant in the stadium this weekend, which is Tennessee's offense versus Arkansas's defense. To call this a mismatch is like calling the Grand Canyon a ditch. Did you see the movie The Abyss? Yeah, that's the mismatch we're talking about here. You're just going along and then way down there. Tennessee is the number 2 scoring offense in America, dropping 45.8 points a game like it's a warm-up drill. They're 11th in yards per play, 4th in points per play, and they convert third downs 47% of the time. That is very, very respectable. Now let's look at the Arkansas defense. They are ranked 118th in the country. For those of you in Bartlett, that's not good. I mean, there are only 133 teams, right? They allow their opponents to convert third downs 57% of the time. Translation. Tennessee isn't just going to hit explosive plays. They're going to sustain long, soul-crushing, clock-eating drives that will make this Arkansas defense feel like they're running a marathon in a sauna with cement shoes on. It's going to be brutal for that offense as the day wears on, particularly if it's a little hotter than usual. And here's the real dagger. And I think this is the most important stat you're going to hear today. Tennessee averages over 9 yards per pass attempt. Okay? Arkansas gives up 9 yards per pass attempt. So let me make this clear for you. Arkansas is coming in and they've given away 36 points just by the fact that they're alive and they draw a breath. Okay? They're not going to fix that in a week by firing the defensive coordinator. That's not going to happen. It takes longer than that to fix a problem like this that they have. So it's just kind of like saying, we know what you're going to do. Go ahead and do what you're going to do. And we'll just try to catch up, keep up, right? That's how this game is going to go. They are not going to stop Tennessee's offense. It is not going to happen. Here's the plot twist. So Tennessee's going to hang 50 points on them. There, I said it. I'm not saying they win by 50, but they're going to hang 50 on them, essentially. Game over. Tennessee covers. We all go home, have a few drinks and some burgers, and maybe get laid or something. Not so fast. Not quite. Here's where it gets spicy. Arkansas's offense is quietly elite. They're pretty damn good. They rank number 2 in the entire country in yards per play, averaging a massive 7.8 yards per play. They're 6th in total yards per game. And they have the 5th best third down offense in the country. That's a problem for anybody. Oh, the running game? Did I mention the running game? It's the best in the country. 6.9 yards a carry. Holy crackers. So, it's true. Their defense can't stop a nosebleed. But their offense, it's another story. They'll be facing a Tennessee defense, let's call it noisy, messy, slightly messy. Not messy, slightly messy. They're pretty solid against the run, only giving up 3 yards a carry, but they're soft through the air. They're ranked 122nd in passing yards allowed and let opponents complete over 67% of the passes thrown at them. That is way too much. So the equalizer is Tennessee's pass rush, which ranks 11th in the country in sack percentage. There will be some sacks. Arkansas, they've got one of the best offensive lines in the nation, allowing sacks only about 3% of the time when they pass. So the entire game hinges on this. Can Tennessee's pass rush get home? Because if they can, this game's over. Arkansas is already prone to interceptions, and the pressure will only make that worse. But if that Arkansas offensive line neutralizes the rush, and that's the unknown, and gives their quarterback time, well, we got ourselves a legitimate, high-flying shootout. So let's talk about the wild card, Bobby Petrino. The man is 63 years old, hasn't been a Power 5 head coach, told you a little bit earlier, since 2011. That was back when people were using blackberries. They were eating blueberries and using blackberries, mostly in the mornings. And they thought Pitbull was the future of music. That's a funny line. But here's the thing. Petrino knows offense. He's really good at it. When he was at Arkansas the first time, he turned them into a top 10 program. His offensive, they were surgical, they were creative, they were ruthless. The question is, does he still have that magic? Or is this one of those washed up legend situations where nostalgia meets reality and gets embarrassed on live TV? I said on the thumbnail, Sunday morning headline, Petrino's midlife crisis gets met by a chainsaw. I think that's what's going to happen. Based on historical precedent, mid-season coaching changes are either a boom or a bust. You either get the Dabo Swinney situation, rallying the troops like when he ascended into the Clemson head coaching position, or you get the aforementioned Scott Frost thing back in 2022, where he went, I think, he got fired fourth game in. They put in Mika Joseph, and he went 1-7 or 2-6 or something like that for the remainder of the season. They got rid of him. So there's rarely a middle ground. So it'll be a boom or a bust in this situation. My gut is that Petrino's got a good game plan in him. I mean, Arkansas has been scoring some points. He's got 1 week to scheme up something beautiful. Catches Tennessee off guard, a little cocky, overlooking this game, maybe looking forward to the Alabama game next week. And they make a really good game out of this for a half. Because the secret sauce here you've got to fold in to the mix is Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel is 9-2 after a bye week the past 11 years. 9-2. That's pretty damn good. 4-1 at Tennessee. That means that Heupel had 2 weeks to prepare, 2 weeks to scheme, 2 weeks to find every crack in Arkansas's defense and, just pour a little napalm in it. Bobby had 1 week. No, you're saying, Rocket, it's been 2 weeks. They had a bye week as well. No. They did have 2 weeks, but that first week was an administrative week. Bobby Petrino comes in and fires the defensive coordinator. Then he takes the defensive line coach and makes him the defensive coordinator. And then he takes another guy and makes him the offensive coordinator, which is the position that he elevated from to the head coaching position. And then 2 other people got promoted into the 2 vacancies that were left because of that. That's chaos. That first week was spent trying to figure out what the hell am I supposed to be doing in this new job, because the responsibilities are different. It's a mess up there that first week. So really, technically, they only had about a week to prepare for this game. And they're not, I don't care how many points they score, they are not going to fix that defense before Saturday. Here's how the game script will go. For Arkansas to pull off an upset, they got to shorten the game and use that elite running game to control the clock and limit possessions for Tennessee and get that offense off the field. They have to win first down. They have to stay ahead of the chains, so they're not in obvious passing situations where Tennessee can tee off with the rush. They have to force turnovers. They need at least 2, preferably pick sixes, because their kicking game sucks, and they have to play a perfect game on the offensive line, 0 sacks, 0 pressures, give their quarterback all day to throw the ball. That's the path. It's narrow, it's treacherous, but it requires damn near perfection. How's that sound? Can you pull that all together in a week? You can't. I don't think so. What do I know? I'm just a dude with a laptop and a cowboy hat. Here's a more likely scenario. Tennessee comes out in their up-tempo offense, balanced attack, forces Arkansas to defend 75 to 80 plays. That defense, already ranked 118th in the country, can't get off the field. They get gas. Once they're gassed, Tennessee starts hitting more and more explosive plays over the top. Arkansas falls behind 2 or 3 scores. Now they're forced to throw the ball, and they can't do what they're really good at, which is run the ball. Tennessee ramps up the tempo. Pass rush starts. Interceptions happen. The floodgates open. And by the fourth quarter, Neyland Stadium is getting hoarse from singing Rocky Top so damn much. And the Arkansas players are over on the sideline taking their phones out of their sock that they have stored and looking for a cheap, quick flight back home. Here's the betting angle. Let's look at the line movement. The spread opened at 13.5 as of Tuesday at noon. That's today when we're recording this. It dropped to 12.5. The Sopranos pushed that down a little bit. Somebody with some money thinks Arkansas has a chance to cover. I don't think they think Arkansas has a chance to win. They think Arkansas has a chance to cover because of Petrino. That's really all I have to say about that line. Here is the final verdict. Let's bring it on home. I ran the numbers on this model. 3 different models I tested these numbers on. I applied a 15% road tax to Arkansas's offense for playing in a hostile environment. I slightly normalized, giving them the benefit of the doubt, Arkansas's defensive numbers for their brutal strength of schedule that they've faced, and they have. It has been tough. I factored in Heupel's dominance over the bye weeks over the past 11 years. I accounted for the Bobby Petrino potential magic. Here's what it spits out. Maxwell, 9,000, spits out Tennessee 48, Arkansas 31. 17-point margin, just outside the current 12.5-point spread. Tennessee covers, the over covers, or the over hits, and Bobby Petrino spins the post-game presser reminding everyone that he's still got it, even though the scoreboard says otherwise. So for you bettors out there, the play is Tennessee minus 12.5. That's how I see it. Again, my opinion. I'm just a guy with a laptop and a cowboy hat and a pirate mug. Look, I respect Bobby Petrino. The man is an offensive savant. He's Rain Man. He's Rain Man. Yeah. Judge Wapner, 3 o'clock. Judge Wapner, 3 o'clock. Yeah. That's Bobby Petrino. But respect doesn't win football games. Execution does. And here's Tennessee coming off a bye. Number 2 offense. 118th ranking defense. It's about to execute Arkansas in front of 102,000 fans in Neyland Stadium. And I should have said 102,000 witnesses. I'm just hoping Arkansas doesn't press charges. Will it be close? Absolutely, it'll be close. For a half. Will Arkansas have some moments? Absolutely, they will. Good offensive football team. But by the fourth quarter, this one is going to look like what we always thought it was going to look like, a chainsaw meeting a dumpster fire. Tennessee 48, Arkansas 31. Tennessee covers. That is my prediction. And Josh Heupel adds another notch to his post-bye week belt. What do you think? Do you think I'm full of poo-poo caca? Could be. You got a better idea? You got a better plan? And I am saying this fully cognizant of the fact that mid-season changes typically don't work out well. As we saw last week with UCLA beating Penn State in front of 15,000 people. Poor Nico. But he had a good game. He had a good game, and they won because a new coach brought a different energy. This is not a new coach. Petrino is not a new coach. He's been the offensive coordinator there. He's probably been the only high point there. So it's not like they're bringing some new guy in, you know. I think Arkansas problem is probably the culture there, whatever that means. All right, if you'll excuse me, I have to go bet a money line bet on Tennessee and have a shot of whiskey, shot of Tennessee whiskey. And I thank you for being here. If you like this sort of analysis, this is what you're going to get on Tuesdays for every game. I hope you'll join me. Hit the like button. Appreciate that. Subscribe. Share it with somebody. By all means, leave a comment. And I will wish us all the best on Saturday. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Go Big Orange.